has been disturbed this morning. We'll bring you exactly what happened. And also, somewhere along the SPINTEX road, the Synagogue Church of All Nations has caused a huge traffic there, and it's rather disturbing the flow of activities in that particular part of Accra. We'll bring you some updates on that as well. Plus, we've got some wellness and some briefs all in this package. Stay with us. Story. Government has secured a €13 million loan to undertake major rehabilitation works on the ADOMI bridge. The bridge, situated at Atimpoku in the eastern region, will thus be closed to traffic beginning June this year for the next 22 months to enable construction works to go on. Government has meanwhile secured 2 ferries to enable passengers travelling from the Greater Accra region to the Volta region to cross the Volta Lake.
Believed to have been designed after the famous London Bridge in the UK, the ADOMI Bridge is a major link for passengers travelling from Greater Accra to the Volta region of Ghana. It is estimated that on a daily basis, over 120,000 people use the bridge to transact business. Tagged Ghana's only suspension bridge, the bridge spans a distance of about 150 meters across the Volta Lake. Its arch spans about 805 feet, while the bridges rise to a height of 219 feet above the Volta Lake. Over the years, the bridge has served as an iconic landmark in the country, attracting tourists. A drive on the bridge takes about 2 minutes, whilst it takes an average of about 5 minutes or more to walk across the edifice. But after 57 years of its existence, officials say the bridge is no longer safe for both vehicles and people to commute on.
No, the bridge was built over 50 years old. So the design at that time and the loadings at that time has changed. Vehicles have become heavier. And we have what we call fatigue. You know, hot weather, it expands. Cold weather, it contracts. Expansion contracts. So that's what happened to the transverse beams, the beams carrying the deck. After we realized they needed to be redesigned and replaced. So basically that's what we're going to do now.
5 years ago, the bridge underwent major rehabilitation works when one of the steel beams supporting the bridge developed structural cracks. Officials from the Ghana Highway Authority quickly moved in to resolve the situation, but the repair works did not stand the test of time. Since that time till now, officials have carried 4 major rehabilitation works on the bridge, but to no avail. Now the bridge shakes dangerously when vehicles use it. Officials say the bridge would need to be reconstructed to ensure its longevity.
Rehabilitation works involves the replacement of the entire bridge deck. So the entire bridge deck will be removed.
First, we take away the concrete of the steel deck. So the first 20 meters, so we work section-wise, because you see the ropes are every 10 meters. So we always take away 20 meters, concrete will be removed. Then we take out the old steel deck. Then we install the new steel deck, fix the hangers, and then let's say we are already safe and we can move on the new steel deck with the trucks. By end of next year, everything has to be finished according to schedule.
Thank you very much. We'll leave it.
The absence of the ADOMI bridge will mean that commuters traveling to the Volta region will have to use the Sugakope road. So the Ghana Highway Authority says it has put in the necessary structures to cater for the many inconveniences the reconstruction of the bridge will pose to Ghanaians.
Government had to source for funding to provide a ferry to cross the river. And the site selected was the Senchi Ferry. The Senchi Ferry site was selected because this happened to be the ferry site before the ADOMI bridge was built. So we then had to come to the ferry site. We came to have an inspection at it and realized the site was still good for the new ferries. The ferries are being manufactured in the Netherlands. We hope to have them getting to the end of June. That's when the ferries will arrive. And then we have 2 ferries are coming. They'll be arriving somewhere in the end, getting to the end of June. They'll be commissioned and hope they'll start working in July. Meanwhile, the contractors for the rehabilitation works on the ADOMI bridge are also on site now. What they're doing, they are just putting up their camps. The bridge will not be closed until the ferries have been commissioned.
The 2 ferries will be located at Senchi, near Timpoku, and can take on the average 30 vehicles per trip.
Okay, so from the ADOME Bridge, let's come back to Accra now, because a church program scheduled for Tuesday morning in Ghana's capital, Accra, by Nigerian prophet T.B. Joshua has caused chaos and humongous gridlock on the SPINTEX road and its enclave. The entire SPINTEX enclave, you understand, has been invaded by a sea of cars, some of which have been parked haphazardly on the side of the road. Thousands of Christians and members of the Synagogue Church of All Nations, that's T.B. Joshua's church, have swarmed the enclave for T.B. Joshua's morning church service. So we sent our reporter, Emmanuel Ante, to the area to ascertain what was happening there. But unfortunately for him, he was detained. But fortunately for him again, or for us, he's just been released, and he's in the studio with me this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Emmanuel Ante.
Good afternoon, Matt.
I think detention and I think the beats you cover, they just like you so much, so they often want to keep you for some time. But tell us, what happened?
Well, I think we went there just to cover what was going on there, just to report to our cherished viewers on whatever was happening around the area. We got there, we took some shots at the entrance, just the entrance, and then a bit, and then we were going in there to report to whoever is in charge to seek permission to take more shots. On our way to the place, and then we were escorted by, all of a sudden, 4 young men came close to us, and then was asking who we were, and then I told him who we were, and then he asked the other guys to surround us by standing at vantage points around us, just for us not to be able to run away or take off or something.
But this was when you were going to rather seek permission from them to do your work.
Exactly. And so we cooperated, and then we went with them, thinking that probably they are taking us to the authority that is supposed to give us that permission to take the shots. We got there, they took us to the synagogue itself, and then just right at the gate, there was this small gate. I guess it's for the security personnel around the area. I don't know what they use it for, but it's locked. There is no window. It's all 2 doors, but they are all closed, glass doors. We went there, and then they said we should sit down. For me, I opted to stand anyway, and then my cameraman sat. And then we asked what the problem was. No explanation came, and then all they said was, did we ask permission? And we said, oh no, we are coming to ask permission to take shots. And then they closed the doors, locked it, left us in there. They went for a while and then came back again. One person came back. I asked him again, and he said he's not allowed to talk to me, and that we are being detained. Apparently, Netu, a sister station, has also been there since 6 a.m.
And they've also been locked up?
Yes, they also went to ask for permission, and then they were also locked up there. So we went to meet them there. They have been there since that 6 a.m. till the time we got there, and then we spent over an hour there again. And in fact, what happened, I can't even describe it. My cameraman nearly fought the security personnel for my intervention, and I mean, they wanted to take the cameras away from us.
Okay, so this was the situation when you got there. Is this how much of a traffic build-up was on the SPINTEX when you got there?
Yeah, this was even at the latter part when the police had arrived and are trying to control the situation. In fact, when at the moment we got there, we saw some foreign vehicles which coming from Togo, some from Togo, some from Benin, some from Burkina Faso, and I guess they were there earlier in the morning because the information we received from the police commander, the MTTU commander there. Shows
so you spoke to the MTTU
exactly.
commander.
We spoke to him.
So let's listen into what the MTTU commander had to say when you spoke to him at the place.
Right from the ShopRite runabout on the SPINTEX road, at every strategic runabout and junctions, we've deployed the traffic men and women to ensure free flow of traffic towards Tema and coming to the synagogue. The way forward could have been the organizers should have informed us much earlier to have advised that because of the crowd, we could have strategically deployed or contact metro mass buses that has high occupancy rate to be strategically located at Kwame Nkrumah Circle, Labadi, and so forth, so that people can converge there using the media to announce. Everybody wants to come. The space is woefully inadequate for the number of cars that we have here. Officially, we were informed that the service will start at 7 a.m. up to 7 p.m. But I was told people came here as early as 2 a.m. They came, parked haphazardly, and left the place. To even get them to come and park properly was so. But you can see, situation is under control.
Okay, so that was the MTTU commander at the Synagogue Church of All Nations on the SPINTEX road. So it even turns out that the police were not even aware, or they were not given prior notice about the way things were going to turn out.
Precisely. They were absolutely not informed. All they were told was a program was going to happen from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. But as to the details of the program, they were not aware. And they did not know whether the crowd was going to be like this magnitude. And one observation that I also made was that people were sitting on the sun. Outside of the synagogue and outside of the tent. There were a lot of tents that were mounted there. A lot of people were sitting on the sun. And you know what they were covering themselves with? With a branch of a neem tree.
Okay, we have that video for you. So let's see now the people Ima was talking about, those who are sitting under the scorching sun and with just palm fronds and or neem tree covering or trying to get some shade.
Praise the Lord! And they are not having that desperate faith. There's a difference between... I don't know why people are not answering me now. Are you not happy to be here? Praise the Lord. Deliverance, you are here for breakthrough. You are here for all of God's happiness. Because the blessing of God is not for those who are smart, but for those who are obedient. Praise God. The blessings of God is not for those who are smart or those. So that is why we are saying, depend on God for what you are here for. No man's wisdom will work. If man's wisdom and ability can work, you will never be here. You will have been out of that situation long time ago. That is why we are encouraging you now. Don't depend on man's wisdom any longer. You are here.
Okay, so people trying to find shade at the Synagogue Church of All Nations. You saw them. So how did they come across the neem trees and the chairs?
In fact, somebody is also making money out of this. Each branch of neem tree you see there cost 1 Ghana cedis. Somebody has already taken up that business and is going around cutting neem trees in the bushes and then comes back there, sell it to those that are sitting around in the scorching sun and looking for shade. And so this is what he's also doing to probably amass wealth. Another problem that was also very, very disturbing was that you could see pregnant women being heckled. And what was their crime? All in the name of seeking for help or looking for deliverance or a breakthrough.
But is there any indication that all the people we saw sitting outside, for instance, will get the opportunity to go into the synagogue, or the synagogue itself is filled to capacity, so no one can enter?
The synagogue is very much filled to the brim. And there is no, even when the wise men came, those that there are people that they call them wise men came. It was even difficult for them to enter into the premises because people had invaded into the premises, and it's so tight, so very full that even getting a working space is a problem. And the security at the gates are also having problems. And in conducting their duties or in going about their own duties, they tend to heckle some innocent people who are also at the gate trying to find their way in there. There was this pregnant woman who was being pushed, being heckled at the gates, and they used the gate, gate in hitting the woman, which was so sad, very, very sad.
So chances are all those we saw outside are still going to remain outside till the program ends. But
Precisely.
You have been released. You spoke of another media house, Net2, having been detained. Have they also been released?
Yeah, they were. They have been released, and all thanks to the police who quickly rushed to our aid when we called them. If not for them, we will still be there by now.
But how was the traffic situation finally when you were leaving the area to come back to the office? How was the traffic situation?
Well, the traffic is still the same. It's still especially when you're moving from the Accra Mall end to the premises. The traffic is so huge. It's so huge. It's not flowing at all. It moves, let's say about every 10 seconds, then it moves a little bit and then stands still for about 5 minutes or so before it can move again. So the traffic situation is still very, 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 very bad.
Emmanuel Ante, thank you very much for joining me in the studio with that very interesting update from the Synagogue Church of All Nations in Accra here on the SPINTEX Road, where he was detained, but thankfully has been released. But let's do some other story now. Calm, which was restored to the Kantamanto market last night, escalated this morning when traders gathered to register their displeasure about being refused access to the market grounds. The Accra Metropolitan Assembly yesterday announced plans to reconstruct the market to a modern one to enhance trading activities.
Traders started massing up at the entrance of the market Tuesday morning, closing in from various angles of the market. They wielded placards, chanted and sang to register their displeasure about authorities clearing up the market for a reconstruction. Some went to the extent of stripping themselves naked, while others were arrested by the police. Police personnel deployed to guard the police suddenly fired warning shots and tear gas to disperse the traders. But the police denied using warning shots to disperse the crowd.
There was one particular man who was going on with a megaphone, inciting the crowd to throw stones at us. And that was what compelled us to use the tear gas to disperse them. Lethal weapons, we are not using them. We only have to contain them. We are not acting because at their camp, we are not doing anything to them. We have to wait and they should cooperate. We have to cooperate together and see how we can move the city forward. Vice Chairman of the Kantamanto Traders Association, Evans Oforiata, noted they are in talks with a private contractor to put up the structures for them.
Many commander Kasase Panicho, only the man in free attention to Munquatre. Nayasuani, a man on Yasum Boko. And Obami Asumdue, Namakacha mini panzo, Bianya Basabasawa, and the president for Yasromo, what the Omon call no more Homba with Troma, no Bianya Basabasawa, Yasromo. You will list our railways and near 50 years, and German Fiadukra. At your list, I am Krata, I am Noye. It is a Yasia, your coin, CS, Yania Toya dear, Yanya, a private contractor. Oh, see a Janamaya, and who can you know, Yasica, Bessie, Ediasrano, Yapanicho, on your baby Maya, your Bessie, Adiamano. At the time of filing this report, the police had managed to restore calm, but traders had refused to move away from the area.
Well, it looks like that situation is a developing one, and we'll still keep you updated on happenings as and when they do occur. But away from that, to the seat of the presidency, security at the Flagstaff House has been handed over from the Navy to the Ghana Armed Forces. During a brief ceremony at the Flagstaff House, all security arrangements was officially handed over to the Armed Forces. A representative from the Ghana Armed Forces Public Relations Department, Major Elizabeth Asan, explains further.
It's just a ceremony for change of guard duties. It's held here every month. What you just witnessed was the Army taking over from the Navy. Next month, the Air Force will also take over from the Army. Its significance is, you know, that security is paramount everywhere. So anywhere that we are, we make sure that security is always our focus. So you witness that the guard commander was handing over to the incoming guard commander. You realize the orders that he gave to the other one, telling him what has transpired. They will keep watch, like sentry, be on duty here 24 hours. And then you realize that during his orders, he said that when there is fire, you should be alert. You know, they are not just here watching, but keeping security. They are in link with their commander. It's a chain, not just here, it's a chain. So anything that they observe, they quickly pass it on. And then the requisite thing is done.
Mali Presidential Staffer Commodore Steve Obimpe said the change is necessary due to tiredness and boredom that comes with some of the duties, likening it to what happens at the Buckingham Palace in the United Kingdom.
Now, it is first time here because the president just moved in here. And so this is the first time that we are doing this. If you want to take it outside this country, other jurisdiction, this happens at the Buckingham Palace every month. Every month you see change of guard, another guard. You cannot be on guard duties for endlessly. You know, boredom, tiredness will come in. So we change every month. Now, ceremonially, Air Force will perform all ceremonial duties for the next 3 months. You saw that the Navy did it from January. So people will say, why every time is Navy, Navy? Because the Navy was the service on duty from January to March. Now the Air Force has taken over.
Well, we are told it will be a monthly observation at the Flagstaff House and the public is invited. So for people like me who are always excited to see the military on parade, you can always join them when it's time for the change of guard duty. But away from that, about 2,000 parcels of substances suspected to be Indian hemp have been burned by the police in the Upper West region. The substances believed to have a street value of 40,000 Ghana cedis were confiscated through police arrests in 2 different operations. After being in the custody of the police for close to 8 years, a court order was granted for the substances to be burned. Rafiq Salam has more from WA.
The burning of the 2,000 parcels of substances believed to be Indian hemp took place at the Siriri refuse dump site in the presence of the police, officers of the Bureau of National Investigations, Environmental Protection Agency and the Attorney General's Department. Upper West Regional Crime Officer ASP Daniel Quentry explained how the substance got into police custody.
Police go on swoop on suspected criminal dens, areas where criminals congregate, or if you like, weed smokers congregate. Occasionally, police make a swoop on these places. Oftentimes, the people will run away, or the suspects will run away and leave the cannabis behind, or the weed behind, or the narcotics behind. And when that happens, it is collected by the police and it's tested. And it's revealed that it's cannabis. So all these things were accumulated in the residence of the municipal police commander.
Deputy State Attorney for Upper West Region Abdul Shakur Said defended the police action for going to court for an order to ban the substance. Rafiq Salam.
Well, I do hope there were no residences nearby where the substances were burnt. Otherwise, you know what would happen. Okay, but let's do some serious stuff now. Now, the Ghana Water Company has assured residents of Cape Coast the acute water crisis that has hit the town is being tackled. The town's famous schools and other educational institutions have been badly hit, with authorities at the Central Regional Hospital contemplating shutting down the facility. Public Relations Officer of the Regional Branch of the Water Company, Napoleon Appiah-Datson, explains some interventions have in the interim been put in place to mitigate the situation. Here's a report by correspondent Georgina Appiah.
As part of measures to curb the water shortage in the central region, the Ghana Water Company has supplied a number of polytanks filled with potable drinking water to some 34 identified communities in the Cape Coast metropolis and surrounding communities. Some educational institutions and health facilities have also benefited. With support from national security, boreholes are being drilled in health centers, including the Central Regional Hospital. Joy News gathered that some communities in the region would also benefit from the project as immediate intervention to save the situation.
The Kakum River has almost dried up. In fact, there's a maximum operating level of 25, but now it has dropped to below 9 feet. So we are unable to draw enough raw water or extract enough raw water for production. I believe that we will liaise with national security to ensure that there are periodic dredging of the river so that we get a lot of storage for the raw water.
Meanwhile, checks at the Central Regional Hospital saw the facility being supplied with water by the Ghana National Fire Service. A senior official at the hospital who spoke to Joy News on condition of anonymity described the situation as better and commended the national security and the fire service for their support. The central region has 2 water plants that supply water to various communities. Brimso Water Plant serves Cape Coast and its surrounding communities. It has a maximum operating level of 25 feet and produces 4 million gallons a day, but has dropped to about 8 feet and producing only 1 million gallons a day. This has resulted in acute water shortage in a number of communities in the region, with people searching for water everywhere. Georgina Appiah's report for Joy News.
Let's still stay with the issue of water. The problematic access to potable water in developing countries such as Ghana has meant most citizens are forced to resort to rainwater, streams, and sometimes sources that cannot be described as entirely safe. Experts, however, believe the safety of such water sources could be significantly enhanced if such citizens had some basic skills on water treatment. A 3-day workshop bringing together water treatment and safe sanitation experts and professionals from West Africa is underway here in Accra to identify some of the practical ways to improve such sources of water.
According to the 2009 Multiple Indicator Survey report, less than 8% of Ghanaians treat water from sources other than pipe-borne before consumption. This is despite research indicating many of such sources cannot be considered safe due to environmental sanitation risks, unsafe household water handling, and storage practices. This, the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Akwesi Oponofosu, says is not encouraging.
The issue of safe water at the point of use should be taken more seriously in our various countries than we have done over the years. What we need to do, in addition, is to use the available mechanisms in our own countries to prioritize the issue of household water treatment and safe storage, and also mobilize some resources to roll out our AWTS programs. We need to mainstream AWTS activities in the existing country water sanitation and hygiene programs, WASH. In order to scale up in a more sustainable manner, we have to look at skilled human capacity, especially at local level.
The workshop is a collaborative effort with the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Water Resources, Works and Housing. Meanwhile, country representative for the World Health Organization Ghana, Dr. Idrisu Sosa, says the household water treatment and safe storage project would help reduce deaths from cholera outbreaks in West Africa.
And safe water puts a major burden on health of populations. Countries of West Africa sub-region, including Ghana, are regularly affected by cholera outbreaks with a number of deaths, and in some countries this became endemic. And it is worth to note that the strategies that you will discuss here will help those countries to reduce not only the burden but the avoidable death.
The workshop is themed Scaling Up HWTS National Policy Environment and Integration.
The Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana will be meeting this month. We have more on that plus other stories when we return. Now, the plight of patients are worsening by the day as government doctors and pharmacists continue to strike over unpaid salary arrears and allowances. The worst hit in such circumstances are children and the aged. Abigail Adomako caught up with some frustrated patients at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
The Kolebu Teaching Hospital is the country's main referral center and hence receives several cases daily. But after doctors and pharmacists here withdrew their services for a month, the frustrations of patients referred to the hospital are unending. 8-year-old Beda Umuni was referred here from a hospital in Swedro to treat a defection in her heart. Though nurses have seen her through some tests, the sensitive nature of her ailment requires the attention of doctors who are currently not at post with no end in sight to their strike. Her poor mother, Aisha Dauda, says she has no money to treat her child at the military and police hospitals who have doctors working.
Nifina obofum obakasa kitikiti sa no sayarana leba lakuta fono omubom pode omumba anya sade anya asampapa maye omuko srake ne anya.
A number of aged patients walked into the outpatients department seeking treatment. The care from the nurses, however, is all they could get. Isaac Bernard, a kidney patient referred to the renal unit from Cape Coast, could not hide his frustrations.
When I came, they weren't functioning. That they were telling me to go back to 37 military hospital or police hospital, and I don't have money to do that extra expenses. So I'm saying that the government should see to resolve this impasse with the doctors and whatnot. You see, if two elephants are fighting, it is the grass which suffers. But you ministers and whatnot, you don't care. So why are you there?
For foreign nationals assessing the facility, they can only hope doctors return to work soon.
I would say the higher earning classes, they should consider often and be a bit moderate because of their countrymen. The poorer are as well creatures of God as the richer one. I know that an educated man must get more money than a poor man because the education and all this is higher. And everybody more or less tries to get capital out of his talents. But yet it is good we follow Christ and we have a loving heart and we show our love to our neighbors, which are here often the poor people.
The news team proceeded to the accident center, but officials would not allow the cameras.
I just came out of the outpatients department of the accident center, and what I saw in there, I can say that it's virtually empty, not as packed as it usually would be. There are some patients who have come to dress their injuries. As at now, the pharmacy inside is locked, and patients would have to rely or resort to the medicines or drugs outside.
Relatives of patients waiting outside the center were agitated over the fear of losing their injured relatives following the strike.
Na be 6:30 na me nya cause brother ni netifie ono obi ti ase onua na nya cause wonya accident na rush by up to now ye hu na ni mupo doctor sponsor ni ha oba nkwala na wa hasa ti esra ba na so omoye ni say ye bre organa ha.
Till doctors and pharmacists are back to work, the plight of patients will continue to worsen. For relatives of patients, their only plea is for government to heed to the cries of the doctors to end their agony. Abigail Adomakwenchi for Joy News.
The Ministry of Water Resources, Works and Housing has indicated that by next month, the affordable housing units currently under construction at Boteman would be ready for allocation. According to officials of the ministry, some aspects of the project have been contracted to the State Housing Company, and work is expected to be completed by June. The affordable housing projects across parts of the country have recently come under the spotlight as delays in completion have paved way for squatters to completely take over the abandoned facilities.
The affordable housing project was started by the erstwhile administration across the country to address the serious shortage of decent and affordable accommodation for the middle and lower income groups. The project, which has been abandoned for some time now, has attracted a lot of criticisms as squatters have virtually taken over most of the facilities after huge sums of money have been spent on the abandoned project. The ministry says it is committed to seeing the completion of the project and are currently engaging some stakeholders to get it to its completion stage.
The Boteman site is being completed by State Housing. TDC is also in talk with the ministry to handle the Pung site, which is also in Greater Accra. Recently, the minister engaged the stakeholders on getting the other regions completed. That is the WA, which is about 7% as per the start date. We have the Kufodria, which is also at advanced state. That's Korima Pong site. And all these projects are going to be looked at to be completed. But for now, like I stated, the projects have not been left abandoned.
The ministry also admits they are aware of occupants at the site and would have no problem getting them ejected to enable the project to be completed.
But squatters have no legal obligation or commitment with the ministry. When we get to the site as a ministry, I don't think they will have a place in those structures. So for them, they have it will not be any worry at all for the ministry to do away with them. But what I can say emphatically is that the project is ongoing.
Authorities and workers at the Boteman site of the affordable housing project were on break at the time of our visits. Joy News checks revealed work was ongoing all right, but not exactly completed.
The Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana will begin its 55th quarterly meeting from Monday, May 13. There are indications among analysts and market watchers that the central bank will maintain its policy rate at 15%. This process is to cushion the Ghana cedi, which has depreciated by about 3.4% against the dollar so far this year, as well as keeping inflation stable at a single digit. The regulator maintained the policy rate at which it lends to commercial banks at 15% in February due to improved economic conditions on both the international and domestic fronts. The governor of the Bank of Ghana, Henry Kofi Wampa, has said that his outfit maintained the rate because risks to inflation and growth outlook remained fairly balanced. We take another break. We have some more stories coming up. Stay with us. Time to catch up with information that will keep you in shape, and in our wellness segment today, we will be talking about nail biting.
Nail
Nail biting is a common habit that affects people of any age. It is a bad habit which may result due to a number of different factors such as stress, depression, anxiety, and other emotional problems. Some people may not even be aware that they have developed the habit of nail biting because they bite their nails unconsciously. Although commonly overlooked, as the habit has mild effects, it does also come along with some psychological effects on the person, as one would always want to hide his hands to prevent others from seeing their short, ragged nails and continually make sure that their hands are hidden. Nail biting not only ruins the beauty and appearance of the nails, but also exposes the biter to several health risks. The habit can damage the cuticles and leave the fingers prone to fungal infections. Warts can be disfiguring, embarrassing, and sometimes itch or hurt. Some medical professionals have even suggested the act may sometimes lead to dental problems by exerting pressure on teeth roots. Nail biters are often the first to catch flu or cold, as biting nails constantly aids the transfer of germs from hand to mouth. If you think that chewing your nails is no problem, the idea that it could be a gateway to various ailments may be enough to have you give up the bad habit for good.
Now let's catch up with developments around the world. North Korea has moved 2 missiles from launch sites on the country's eastern coast after weeks of concern that Pyongyang had been poised for a test launch. And in the United States of America, 3 women who were missing for years have been found alive in a house in Cleveland. The unmistakable voices of Jennifer Lopez and Becca. Let's do business now. HSBC almost doubled pre-tax profits to $8.4 billion in the first quarter of 2013 after trading conditions in the bank's key markets improved. The rise, an increase of 95% on the same quarter in 2012, came as HSBC reported a big fall in losses from bad debts and provisions for other risks. Loan impairment charges fell 51% to 1. And that's it for the Midday Brief, the extended version. And before we go, a quick look at our top stories. Government has secured a €13 million loan to undertake major rehabilitation works on the ADOME bridge in the eastern region. A church program scheduled for Tuesday morning by Nigerian prophet TB Joshua has caused chaos and traffic on the SPINTEX road and its enclave. And also, calm which was restored last night at the Kantamanto market was disturbed this morning as traders gathered to register their displeasure with the security presence at the market grounds. My name is Nia Rofis Matabe. Many thanks for your company. Stay with us here on Joy News. Good afternoon.